Today on the channel, we're going to take a look at this really cool custom-made Van Halen Frankenstein. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. What have we got here? Well, today we're taking a look at this Van Halen Frankie with a beak neck. This is like a 1984 version. If you look at the diver down and like the 1984 videos, in the jump video, Eddie's playing a Frankie with a beak neck. This is a custom-made guitar that my friend Dion made for me. Dion is an awesome luthier here in Nashville, Tennessee. If you look at Edge Tone Guitars, you'll see Dion's work. He does a lot of replicas, but this guitar dates back to about 2006, maybe 2007. You got to remember, back in those days, if you were around and buying guitars in those days, that was prior to the EVH company. And you could not get striped guitars unless you made them or had somebody make them for you. And then when EVH came out, with the EVH guitars, everything kind of went wild and crazy, and it is what it is today. The market's really saturated with striped guitars, which is a good thing. Some of you may think that's a bad thing, but this was before you could get a really nice striped guitar from the EVH company. You had to look at pictures online and analyze how Eddie striped stuff and do your research. Search the internet for tips and tricks on tuners and Floyd Roses and frets and you name it. So Dion painstakingly put this guitar together. It's got an original Floyd Rose. It's a vintage 80s Floyd Rose. The volume knob is low resistance. Of course, it's got just a tone knob on top of that, like traditional Eddie Van Halen style. This paint job is really, really similar to the Frankie. Dion did a great job with it, and it's got the eye hooks for the strap. Let's take a look at this internal cavity. Right down to the red single coil. One thing that wasn't done, he didn't angle the humbucker. He decided to mount it in there with a pickup ring. So I don't think this thing is routed out for a slanted or angled humbucker, but I'm not really fussy about that at the time. That's just how it was made. Kind of makes it easier, I guess, if you want to install another pickup. Got the mustache there, painted really nice. Everything's taped off really great. This is a very, very true to form replica. And it plays awesome. I mean, quite honestly, this thing really rips. It's got a quarter screwed into the body. See if I can get this thing to zoom. So there's the quarter. This is a original Shaler tremolo. So I mean, it's not really a Floyd, it's the Shaler. This thing says made in Germany on the back of it. This thing is killer. These things are pretty expensive nowadays. If you buy these original Floyds. Let me flip this thing over and we'll take a look at the back side. All right, so here's the back. We're going to zoom in here a little bit. Take a look at what we got going on. 2 springs. There's that block. Dion signed it. As you can see, it's dated. It's back to 04, really. I mean, wow, this thing is older than I thought it was. I love this guitar. This was my first Van Halen replica. I was playing in a metal tribute band called White Leopard Crew out of Atlanta, Georgia at the time. We also did Slippery When Wet, which are still a band out of Atlanta. We had a lot of great gigs, but this was my go-to guitar back in those early metal days in the early 2000s. Got this Kramer neck plate. That's pretty cool. Trying to get it to focus. Maple neck. Zoom in on these tuners a little bit. See if we can get that to zoom in and focus. Locking nut bolted through the neck. This guitar is awesome. Take a look at the sides. the depth of it, the width. Get this angle going on. These strings are super old and crusty. I rarely play this guitar anymore. I love my EVH Frankie so much. This guitar is in retirement for the most part. However, you know, I would never part with it. So we'll plug this thing in. Crusty strings and all. Hopefully I won't break something. And we'll do some Van Halen licks and rip on it a little bit and see if we can get it to coax out some awesome tones. So there it is, my early 2000s Van Halen Frankenstein replica built by Dion Edge. Let's check it out.